Welcome to my video. I'm Vinudhi Wahalathanthri and I'm here with my second question set from the DBMS question series. So this video explains how to create a database using either MySQL Workbench or HeidiSQL software, and how to create tables using these databases, and how to create a database in case of data redundancy. So let's see what are the questions we have to answer in this question set. So our question is, the board of directors of Southern Productions has decided to include all of their company information into a computer software. The software was commissioned by Tilina Gayatrasoft. You are the senior software engineer of this software development company, and your team has been assigned to create the database. Create the database needed to store information in this software. So over here, what we have to do is we have to create a database to store all the company information. So let's see what are the instructions given to create this database. So our first instruction is use Sundana Production DB for the name of the database. So our first instruction is to create the database. So firstly, let me open my HeidiSQL. So now let's see how we can create this database. So over here in my main DB, I will right click and now I will select this create new option and I'll enter create new database. So now you all can see that the create new database model has appeared. So now I'll enter our database name as Sundana Production DB and now I'll OK it. So now our database has been created. So now let's see how it will be viewed. Okay, so now our database has been created. So y'all can see that there are no tables created yet. So let's see what is our second instruction. Our second instruction is create a table employee to store the employee information. Follow the instructions below to create it. So our second instruction is to create this employee table to store the employee information in this company. So y'all can see that these are the instructions below to create this database table. So using these instructions according to these column names, the data types and the length, we should create this table. So let's begin to create this table employee. So now before that, we should select what our primary key should be. So according to these columns, to select employee uniquely, the employee register number will become our primary key. Why? Because one employee will only have one employee register number. So therefore, the employee register number should become our primary key. So now let's see how we can create this employee table and enter these column names. So now I will right click on our database name and y'all can see that I will create new option. I'll create new table and now I'll enter our table name as employee. Okay, so now I have entered our table name. So now using this add option, I will add our table columns. So our first column is employee register number. So now this will be our column name. So I'll set the data type as water. And now I'll set the length as 10. So our water length will be 10. Okay, so next we'll set our default value as no default value and OK it. So why did we add this? Because this will be our primary key. So now let's add this as our primary key. So using this create new option, I will add it as primary key. So I can see that over here, our index primary key has been added as this employee register number. So likewise, I'll create the other columns as well. So y'all can see that I have created the columns accordingly. So now I'll save it. Okay, so now my column names has been saved. Let's see how it's viewed in our data. So likewise, the columns has been created. So now let's see what our next instruction is. So our third instruction is create a table named product to store the product information. So follow the instructions below to create it. So now, just as similar as the employee table, we have to create a product table to store the product information. So now let's create this product table using these instructions below. So now we have a product ID, product name, and brand. So we have this specific data types and the length. So what do you think the primary key will be? So to select a product uniquely, the product ID will become our primary key. So I hope you got the idea what this primary key means. So it's used to select a data uniquely. So now let's begin to create this table. So in the same method, I will create this table. So I'll right click on our database and create a new table. Enter our table name as product. And now I'll start adding our columns, product, ID, and I'll add our data type as water. And now I'll send the length as 10, water 10, and I'll give our default value as no default value, and I'll set this as our primary key. Okay, so now our primary key has been added. So likewise, let's create our other columns as well. So y'all can see that I have created the columns likewise. So now I'll save it. Okay, so now these columns has been saved as well. So now we have created our employee table as well as our product table. Let's see what our next instruction is. So now this is a question. What are the steps you can take to stop data repeat in the product table above? So they are asking how can we stop this data repeating in the product table? So using what will our data repeat? So I hope you'll know that if we take a specific brand, according to that, there are many models, many products. So because of that, the brand name will be repeated a lot. So for this, the answer is normalization. So how are we going to normalize this table? So let's normalize this table likewise. So the answer for this is we are going to create a separate table as brand. So we can only insert the brand ID over here. So we can stop the data redundancy in this product table. So let's create this brand table. So I'll create new table, give the name as brand. And now I'll add our columns as brand name, brand ID. So then this will be our ID. I'll give water and I'll give it as 10. So I'll set this as our primary key. So now I'll add our brand name as our next column. Okay, so I'll give it as water 45. And now I'll save this. And before that, let me add this. No default value. And now I'll OK it. So now this table has been saved. Okay, so now this table has been saved. So now we should add a foreign key to our brand column in our product table to include or link this brand table. So let's see how we can create this foreign key. So over here above, y'all can see that we have a tab called foreign keys. So now let's add the foreign key. So I'll add the key over here and I'll give our columns as brand because we'll be inserting this to our brand table. And next we'll give our reference table as brands, and now our foreign key column, I'll give it as brand ID. Okay, so likewise I should create this foreign key. So y'all can see that once I save it, likewise these two icons will be added near our brand column. So now if we go to data and let's just like for example, let's add something. So I'll give 1 and I'll give a product name as phone of who are we phone. And now once I go to brands, y'all can see that I have this selecting option. So if I give some data in this brand, I can select those data and the IDs will be loaded. So let me show y'all how it will be happen. So I'll add some data to this brand ID. So I'll give it as 1 and I'll give the brand name as Huawei and I'll add another data as well. So I'll give the ID as 2 and I'll give the brand name as Apple. So now let's go to our product table and now let's start adding a brand. So now y'all can see that those 2 options has added. So now y'all can see that once I click on it, the brand ID will be added. So this is how we can stop this data redundancy. So now this product table has been normalized. So now this is all for this question set. So I hope you all understood what I explained. So I'll be back with a new question set. So until that, stay tuned, have a nice day and bye!